Topuria says he's back. What you think about that?
He better be, because I'm supposed to fight him in June on the White House card.
Uh-oh.
That's who I'm fighting.
Oh, that's who you want.
That's who I have to have. That's why I fought for this thing. White House in June, let's go.
What's next?
Ilia Topuria on the White House. Has to be. Has to be. No other option.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
Walking out of the Oval Office, into the cage, wearing the flag.
Entertaining.
I think we're going to main event it. I think we'll be the main event.
Boom. Let's go. Once in a lifetime.
I'm totally guessing throwing shit against the wall right now.
Yeah. Universe.
But I mean, what else?
You know what I think will probably happen? You know what I think will probably happen?
We'll see it.
I think there'll be headline. You'll be one of them, so that they can say, like, the man who's never had a bad fight, definitely here. So that's a draw. Yeah. And then they put whatever else on there. So I think co-main event. I think for sure.
Co-main. Who's main?
I don't know. I think it'll be a huge. I think it'll be big name.
Picture this instead. We're talking about Greer, a fighter carved down to the bone by relentless wars. Not metaphorically, brutally, visibly broken. He's been locked in an endless current, enemy after enemy crashing into him, each clash stealing blood, breath, and time he barely has to heal. Every victory costs something. Every loss brands him deeper. He has touched glory's summit and rotted in despair's gutter. And that jagged road behind him is no backstory, it's a warning.
But name-wise, I think that is.
If it's McGregor, then McGregor's going to fight me, and we'll be main event anyway.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay, never had a bad fight. Okay.
Yeah, it would be if Ilia didn't come back, they would strip him. I'd become the undisputed, and then McGregor gets to fight whoever he wants. So I guess that would be an option.
About a rematch with Volk, but the one thing that we have to acknowledge as fans is Volk's never asked for a rematch. Volk's got nothing to do at 45 that anybody wants to see. This is all pretend. We're pretending. But we would like to see him go up to 55. That would be interesting if Volk, much like he challenged Islam, challenged Ilia. I digress. I'm sharing.
I hear the whispers crawling through the noise, right? The critics, the casual spectators, murmuring that Ilia Topuria merely found Alexander Volkanovski at the perfect fracture point, that it was timing, luck, a single violent spark in one round, capped by a stoppage controversial enough to keep every mouth running. You can feel that doubt spreading like smoke, but listen carefully. That uncertainty isn't damage, it's fuel. It isn't a crack in Ilia's armor, it's the hammer striking it. Because skepticism, pressure, resistance, that's the furnace where true champions stop being contenders and become permanent. This isn't about wrapping another belt around his waist. It's about hunting down that narrative and snapping its spine. It's about erasing the suggestion that he's anything less than extraordinary. This isn't just a fight. It's a reckoning. It's proof carved in bone that the knockout wasn't a lucky eruption but the first cannon blast of a new reign. One shot wasn't the climax, it was the opening warning. And I promise you, when the cage door shuts again, the world won't be debating timing or controversy. They'll be watching confirmation unfold in real time.
But that win brings into question that they'd only completed one round, and that round was won by Volk. So many of us...
Did I make it clear, or are you still pretending not to see it? Because if you're stuck debating Ilia Topuria and his claim to absolute featherweight supremacy, then you're missing the violence of the truth. Conflict isn't some polite footnote in history. It isn't ink drying quietly on a page. No, it's a detonation. It's the thunderclap that declares who truly commands the storm. Real champions don't just add another win beside their name, they dismantle the will of the person standing across from them. They don't settle for a decision, they invade the mind. They carve doubt so deep into an opponent's psyche that the mere thought of a rematch feels like walking back into a nightmare. That's what actually happens inside the octagon. Not just punches and takedowns, but erosion, layer by layer, of certainty, courage, identity. And here's the part people keep ignoring. That savage drive, that cold refusal to bend, it doesn't stop at 145 pounds. It isn't confined by a division, a scale, or a ranking. It spills over. It grows teeth. It follows him beyond limits and dares anyone, anywhere, to test whether the dominance was momentary, or the beginning of something far more permanent.
But we lose the right to have that discussion and not just crown Ilia the greatest 45-pounder ever. We lose that right when the principal, who's Volk, never said, I want to try that again. It's relevant. It's very relevant to the story. If everybody just sat down and goes, this is the best guy, We don't have a debate.
Think about those endless, recycled GOAT debates that never seem to die. The same names tossed around like sacred relics while everyone argues in circles. Strip away the noise and face the blunt truth. History isn't patiently stitched together over decades of polite accumulation. It's violently rewritten in a single, irreversible moment that splits before and after. One flash, one collapse, one silence that swallows an arena whole. Ilia Topuria didn't just edge out a win or pad a resume. He didn't tiptoe into relevance. He detonated into it. In one brutal exchange, he didn't simply defeat a man, he disrupted a timeline, cracked a legacy, and forced the sport to blink. That's how eras actually change. Not through slow applause, but through shockwaves. And when that kind of rupture happens, debates don't end, they panic. They scramble to reframe what they just witnessed because accepting it means admitting the throne may already have a new ruler. So when you hear the chatter rise again, the comfortable comparisons and nostalgic defenses, remember this: greatness isn't politely requested, it's imposed. It storms the gates and dares anyone to deny what they just saw. Hey, pay attention, because that wasn't hype. That was a line in the sand, and it's already been crossed.
Wait, I heard on TV 1 week ago, and I came on this channel and I repeated 1 week ago. Do I have the right to say that? After Ilia stomped him out in decisive fashion inside of 8 minutes. Shouldn't I say that Ilia is the greatest 45-pounder of all time?
Fine, strip away the featherweight crown. Erase the kingdom he just seized. You've heard the murmurs, haven't you? The low gossip suggesting he's circling back just to grab another trophy, polish the shine, and leave. That this is collection, not conquest. But that's the shallow read. Ilia Topuria isn't chasing hardware, he's chasing ghosts. The specters of doubt. The echoes that say one spectacular night doesn't crown you the greatest alive. You really think one seismic victory automatically plants you on that supposedly untouchable summit? That peak isn't defended by statistics. It's guarded by pressure. This isn't about numbers inked on paper or highlight reels replayed on demand. It's about the savage, grinding war inside the mind, the one that doesn't end when the cage door opens. It's about carrying the target that grows brighter with every win, the bullseye that invites every hungry contender to test your certainty. Can Ilia, still carving the edges of his own legend, shoulder that suffocating weight in a division drenched in acclaim and expectation? Because this isn't a casual return. It's exposure. It's risk. It's stepping back into the fire knowing everyone now studies the blueprint to break you. He's not merely walking in to reclaim a belt. Burn this into your memory: he's walking in to prove the pressure won't fracture him, that the crown doesn't control him, that the hunt ends when he says it does.
Records or beat more guys than Jose Aldo. Who cares? What difference does it make? Shouldn't we say that Ilia is the greatest 45-pounder of all time? Because we don't. We say it about the guy that Ilia shut off in less than 8 minutes. Fair enough. All right, we're at 155. What do we have to do to say that Ilia is the greatest 155-pounder of all time?
Move past the shallow measurements. Forget the tidy columns of wins and losses. If you truly want to understand what forges a GOAT, what elevates someone from elite to eternal, then you have to look where numbers can't follow. This isn't a popularity contest, followers tallying likes and chanting names in waves. It's about presence, the kind that bends the air when they enter a room, the kind that makes contenders second-guess themselves before the first strike is thrown. Greatness isn't applause, it's atmosphere. It's the undeniable gravity that pulls everyone into orbit whether they accept it or not. You don't stand beside that level, you feel it pressing against your ribs. No statistic captures that. No resume fully explains why opponents grow cautious, why narratives shift the moment they speak. The greatest of all time isn't voted in. They impose themselves on the era. They become the standard others are measured against, the shadow cast over an entire division. And once that presence locks in, once that aura hardens, it doesn't ask for validation. It dares anyone to challenge it, and punishes them for trying.
To Khabib. And I do know that I hear some hardcore, some older guys say BJ Penn. So I think in a discussion, I think Khabib's gonna win that. Because after all, it's just a popularity. It's just it's a vote.
Do you even grasp what that feat signifies? What level of audacious ambition it screams into existence? Unprecedented, unheard of, almost disrespectful to the limits people swear are real? It isn't subtle. It doesn't politely introduce itself. It forces you to sear it into your brain, to replay it whether you want to or not. This isn't arithmetic. It's not tidy comparisons or curated legacies stacked neatly on a broadcast graphic. It's defiance made flesh. It's raw grit walking straight through the boundaries you once considered immovable and tearing them down with deliberate violence. The kind of ambition we're talking about doesn't aim to participate, it aims to dominate the idea of domination itself. It looks at ceilings and treats them like floors. It hears impossible and translates it into not yet attempted properly. That's the difference. Numbers can flatter, records can age. But this is the savage refusal to accept the cage as a limit, the division as a boundary, the era as a constraint. It's the will to shatter what you thought was feasible in fighting and replace it with something harsher, louder, undeniable. And once you witness that level of intent, you don't debate it. You carry it with you, because it permanently redefines what you believe a fighter can dare to become.
He did, that Ilia's got to do, and I don't think that's just title defenses, by the way. I think it's the way you win. I think it's the dominance. And can Ilia, and this is a very relevant question that I'm about to ask you. Can Ilia be the GOAT operating in the same time, the same era as Islam, if those two never meet? As impressive as what Ilia has...
Forget popularity contests and all the polished, polite chatter floating around. If you truly crave greatness, if you really want to be remembered, you face a brutal, uncompromising question. Can you claim the throne of an era when undeniable forces, fighters like Islam Makhachev, still roam unconquered, untouched by your hand? This isn't about reclaiming a belt that might technically belong to you. It's about nothing less than absolute dominion. Titles can be won by anyone, they're fleeting fragments of recognition. Champions, true champions, consume history itself. If Ilia Topuria wants to be more than a momentary king, he must annihilate every obstacle. He must assert his will with uncompromising force, hunt down every whisper of doubt, every rival, every phantom haunting the path to supremacy. There's no sidestepping this. You must march through fire, stare into the beast, and survive the storm. Only by confronting every shadow, every unclaimed challenge, every jagged remnant of fear, can a fighter ascend beyond mere legend. This is the only road to immortality in this sport. Anything less is just a story. He must make it history.
Same thing. And wouldn't you be forced to say that? Ilia's had one match at 155 pounds, and he won the world title. Islam's had one match at welterweight, and he won the title.
All the endless chatter swirling around Ilia Topuria, his relentless hunger for GOAT status, his obsession with absolute supremacy. Listen closely. Each belt he hoists is little more than a hollow emblem. The true apex predator, the undisputed monarch of this era, still prowls the same weight class, still radiates undeniable power. Real dominion isn't measured by victories alone. It's earned by annihilating every lingering shadow of doubt, every whisper questioning your supremacy. Ilia Topuria isn't simply plotting a return to claim another lightweight strap. No, he's locked in, mercilessly hunting Islam Makhachev, and nothing short of standing over the unconquered king, silencing the single challenger who could ever contest his reign, will satisfy that pursuit. Until that moment arrives, until the throne is unquestionably his, every argument, every speculative debate, every what-if remains possible. The margin for dispute must be obliterated. Absolute control demands it. There can be no ambiguity, no second guesses, no room for conversation. True power is carved, not claimed, and Ilia Topuria.
He's the two-division champion. How does Ilia surpass him? And there's a way, right? First off, Islam has a loss. What do you want to do? Everybody, right? It's one of those things. What do you want to do with that? You want to hold that against him? You want to act like that doesn't speak to his greatness, as opposed to him getting caught in one moment? And what do you want to do? But eventually...
Heard it. I know you did. Dismissing a fighter's losses as if they're mere numbers, that's for the novices, the uninformed, the ones content with surface-level narratives. But do you want to know what separates the legends from the rest? It's an unbreakable courage, forged like iron, that forces a man to face the ultimate terror in his division, to name it, confront it, and then watch hesitation flicker across its face. Ilia Topuria isn't just striking back with fury to reclaim what he believes is his by right. He leaves no doubt. No questions remain. A true fighter of his caliber doesn't flinch from challenges. He hunts the fiercest, seeks the hardest, goes exactly where others fear to tread. You can take a hit, fall to the mat, bleed, even taste defeat, but you can never outrun the ghost of a test you dodged. That spectral strike lingers, haunts every step until Ilia Topuria forces you to confront it head-on. There's no escape. There's no shortcut. Every phantom, every challenge you ignored, will chase you relentlessly until you finally face it under his terms. Etch that into your memory. This is how legends are carved, not by avoiding the storm, but by standing in it, forcing the world to reckon with the shadow you refuse to flee.
The timeline that Ilia came to that weight class, calling out Islam. Islam publicly said no to that fight and went to 170. That statement right there cost me a relationship with Islam Makhachev, by the way. I don't think I've ever told you guys that story. Islam does not like that I make that statement. But that statement is 100% the way it
The footage itself reveals something profound, something impossible to ignore. Ilia Topuria wasn't sitting back, waiting for fortune to smile. No, he hunted. He deliberately plunged into the lightweight maelstrom, a division teeming with killers, not timid contenders. He wasn't merely chasing a shot, he sought the apex, the undisputed monarch, Islam Makhachev, and he did so with purpose. Make no mistake, this wasn't bravado, nor a hollow display meant to echo as mere war cries. It was a calculated gauntlet, laid bare and unrelenting, compelling even the champion to respond. Every movement, every angle, every approach was a message. The throne is contested, and the challenger is neither shy nor reckless. On the other side, the reigning king, sensing the challenge, knows he must assert absolute dominance, must meet that audacity head-on. But that is exactly what makes the scene so electric. One man doesn't merely wait for fate to hand him a path, he forges it, drags the greatest into confrontation, and dares him to resist. This is the collision of wills, raw and unavoidable, where ambition isn't whispered, it is declared, demanded, and enforced with unflinching clarity.
155. Now, he was looking at 170. He wanted to leave the weight class, but he didn't. He was the champion. And Ilia relinquished, moved to the division.
Not knowing. You heard.
Not knowing? You heard it right. Ilia Topuria, ablaze with lightweight hunger, attempted to leap the line, to defy the rigid pecking order. And so, the gatekeepers, the promoters, the title holders, the authorities, met his stare and cut him down cold. Not yet. You lack the ranking. That, my friends, is the brutal, unflinching reality of this sport. Raw ambition alone won't carve a path to a UFC championship. What you need is the iron of a fighter's soul, the relentless instinct to bend circumstance to your will. True champions don't wait for openings, they create them. They flatten divisions, leave trails of wreckage, and return not for approval, not for favors, but to seize what is unequivocally theirs. That first denial, the slammed door in his face, didn't break him, it forged him. Every refusal, every obstacle became fuel, hardening his resolve and sharpening his hunger. Now, back in the fray, he's here not to request permission, not to plead, but to claim, to dominate, to demonstrate that the throne isn't granted, it's earned. The gates that once barred him, consider them shattered. The path is his to walk, and he moves with the certainty of one who knows the weight of ambition and the inevitability of its fulfillment.